What is going on, everybody? What is going on, the Catch fam? It is Steven here, and in today's video, we're going to be breaking down the must-start defenses for your fantasy football teams going into week number 4. We had a great week 3, and we are looking forward to a fantastic week 4, guys. If you are not already a part of the Catch fam, we definitely encourage you to go down there, hit the subscribe button, come on and join the best community in all of fantasy football. And we always do appreciate a good old like if you love this video. But most importantly, of all things, make sure you get in those comments. Let us know what is going on in terms of your rosters. Who are you thinking about starting at the quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, defense, or kicker spot? And we will give you some advice to set your roster up in order to destroy your opponent, embarrass them, just wipe the floor with them. That's our job. Let us help you out. But with that said, if nothing else is ready to discuss, let's get into the must-start defenses. Up at number 1, I got my headband on, and the reason I got my headband on here is because I want to talk about the Aaron Rodgers-led Green Bay Packers. Man, these cheese heads are getting it done, and I am so glad to see that this defense might be what I thought they were coming into the season. Last week against the Tampa Bay Bucks with Tom Brady, who weighs like 130 pounds now, they got it done. 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and they recovered both of those fumbles as well. They look fantastic. And all season long, I've been saying when it is the time to jump on this defense. Well, guess what, guys? It is now. Because you look at the schedule coming up ahead. They got the Patriots, very juicy. Then the Giants, the Jets, and the Commanders. You just got absolutely smoked by the Eagles. We're going to be talking about the Eagles later on, though. But listen, going up against the Patriots this week. In the past, I don't like to stream against Patriots all the time. But here we go. Mac Jones banged up after that Ravens loss, right? His ankle looks like a hot mess. It looks like my face when I wake up in the morning. It's disgusting. But listen, his ankle, it might take him out in the week. If not, he'll play, and he is not going to be the same Mac Jones. But if he doesn't play, it's going to be Brian Hoyer or Mr. Zappy himself, the rookie. Either way, I'm ready to stream against this unit right here. And the Green Bay Packers, very good at hitting the QB, even in week 2 against the Chicago Bears. They got 3 sacks as well. That pass rush is aggressive, and whoever's throwing the ball to these terrible receivers in New England, they're going to have to go up against Jair Alexander too. I think this is a smash play. Grab the Packers. This isn't just a 1-week hold. I think you got a few weeks to take this Packers team and get some W's. So let's go get it. Up next, we got the boys who like to ride on cows. We got the Dallas Cowboys. Man, Jerry Jones, he is putting a lot of faith into Micah Parsons, and I think he should, because Micah Parsons is the reason why this team is going to hang around until Dak Prescott gets back. Yeah, we got Cooper Rush out there, the red-haired stallion. I get it, but Micah Parsons, this is the modern-day Lawrence Taylor, and we need to keep riding with him. This video is being recorded on Monday before the Monday night game against the Giants, but I expect them to have a pretty good outing. Going up against the Commanders, though, in week 4, listen, the Commanders just got absolutely smoked by the Eagles. Eagles defense is very good, but one thing stood out to me at an alarming rate. Whoa, the sacks came in big numbers. I think the Eagles had 9 sacks. Well, guess what? That's what the Cowboys do at a pretty high clip as well. They got 6 sacks in week 2 against Joe Burrow and the Bengals. 2 sacks the week before that against Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I am looking forward to a high sack total performance against Carson Wentz. And you know there's going to be some turnovers coming too, because that's the one thing the Cowboys did last season at a high rate, was get those turnovers. So far, only 1 interception. I'm expecting a big positive progression here soon. And I think it starts with the turnover king himself, Mr. Carson Wentz. So let's get it popping. Let's put the Dallas Cowboys in your lineup and let's stream them here. Great, fantastic play. Next week after the Commanders, they got the Los Angeles Rams and the Philly Eagles. So this might be only kind of a 1-week situation, and then you might have to kick them to the curb. Up next, we're talking about the Cleveland Browns. Wow, that new mascot of theirs is just absolutely terrible. But they had 11 fantasy points against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't worry, I'm not going to try to gas them up too high, because that was one of the most fluky plays I've ever seen in my entire life. That either killed you in terms of betting, or that really made your day fantastic in terms of betting. But also, for any of you guys who had them rostered last week, you were probably pretty excited when they got that last-second touchdown. Listen, I think the Cleveland Browns, though, they didn't have the most outstanding performance against the Steelers, but they're going to get healthy. They had Clowney out. I think they're going to get better throughout the week. They're going to roster a edge rush that is just ferocious beyond belief, going up against the Atlanta Falcons and Marcus Mariota, who have looked more confident than I thought they were going to be coming into the season. But I wouldn't go as far as say is that they were explosive or super confident, right? I'm still going to target them. Seattle Seahawks had close to 10 fantasy points against the Atlanta Falcons, so I'm definitely going to target them heavily in terms of opponents to stream against here. And I think that this is going to be one of the most fierce pass rushing threats that Marcus Mariota is going to see, especially in the first half of this season so far as the starter for the Atlanta Falcons. Let's get it done here. Let's go ahead and put those Browns into your lineup, guys. And looking forward to next week after the Atlanta Falcons, they got the Los Angeles Chargers. So this is really kind of the last week that you can view them as a streaming option here, unless the Justin Herbert injury progresses. Up next, we're going to talk about the Flying Birds. They come from Philadelphia and they take everybody's lunch. That's what these Eagles do, man. They've been kicking some serious buns. They look like they are the best team in the NFC, guys. Fletcher Cox and this defense is coming for everybody's lunch, guys. Philadelphia Eagles going up against the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is the Trevor Lawrence-led Jaguars, guys. This is not no Urban Meyer-led team here anymore. Doug Peterson's got these guys playing hard, but I still think you can roll these Eagles out against them. Last week, the Chargers really shit the bed defensively, but in large part, that was because of Justin Herbert putting that defense in a bad spot. I don't think Jalen Hurts in this run-heavy offense is going to do that to the Eagles unit, and I think they get it done. One big thing that stands out to me for the Philadelphia Eagles, I mentioned it earlier, 9 sacks against the Washington Commanders. This is going to be the fiercest pass rush presence that Trevor Lawrence has seen, and the secondary in Philly is no joke either, and this is in Philadelphia. This is going to be a hard matchup for the young man Trevor Lawrence, and as of Monday, this is a big spread, right? Eagles are heavy favorites. I expect the Eagles to get it done, and I expect Trevor Lawrence to struggle here. This is going to be his step-back game in terms of the season so far, I imagine, and I'm full confidence in the Philadelphia Eagles this week. I think you plug them in there. You let these guys sing it for your roster right here. Then the week after this one, they got the Arizona Cardinals, right? So this is a really good spot for them to take a 4-0 commanding lead of that NFC East division. Let's go, boys. Let's fly high and let's get it done. Number 5, we're talking about a team that made me cry like a little child. We're talking about the Los Angeles Chargers. They made me so sad, guys. I went out there and basically every league and I put high waiver priority bid on these guys. I thought they were going to be a delicious treat. Then they come out there and give me negative fantasy points. Bosa gets hurt. It was just an absolute nightmare, guys. I was so terribly shaken by it. But end of the day, guys, we cannot be too overreactory here. I think they're going to step back big against the Houston Texans here. I think this is a really big bounce back win game for them here. Listen, Justin Herbert is not himself anymore since the injury, but I think they rely on the little guy, Austin Eckler, a little bit more, because this guy might be shorter in size, but he is very thick in stature. And I think they're going to give this guy the ball quite a bit. And we saw what the Bears did to the Texans with Mr. Khalil Herbert. I expect Eckler to get it done too. And I expect the Chargers to roll against the Houston Texans, man. Bears had a pretty good performance against them last week. And I think the Chargers, even without Bosa, if he were to miss, are a much better unit than them. And again, guys, just like I said in the last week video, this defense, all said and done, has a pretty favorable schedule against the Houston Texans, the Cleveland Browns, the most boring offense in all of football to watch, the Denver Broncos, and then the Seattle Seahawks, bye week, and then the Falcons, right? So a lot of tasty treats here, and I do think this is one of the better secondaries, at least on paper, in all of football. I'm going right back to them. If they disappoint me, I'll readjust here. But I'm going to give them another shot against Mr. Davis Mills. Up next, we're talking about the San Francisco 49ers, who just put a defensive whooping on the Denver Broncos, the most boring team in all of football, but still ended up coming up short because Jimmy Garoppolo just can't get it done. Listen, guys, 10 fantasy points against the Broncos, 11 fantasy points the week before against the Seattle Seahawks, going up against the Los Angeles Rams. I'm wearing their jersey. Why am I talking about streaming against this team then? Well, that's because I do love the Rams. I love this new gray jersey and all honesty, but at the end of the day, this offense is not what they were last year. Cooper Kupp, super sexy guy, very good at football. Matt Stafford, he's still pretty good at football, but his arm is definitely not what it was last year. Allen Robinson dropping touchdown catches. This running game is just absolutely horrendous. I feel a lot of pain for anyone who drafted Cam Akers. He is just not that guy anymore. Darrell Henderson, he's all right, but he just has not been getting it done. I think this is a offense that you can stream against in the right spots, and especially if you got Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers going up against them. Kyle Shanahan has historically owned the Rams and has done very well against Sean McVay here. I think this offensive line that has been a little bit of a regression from last season, for sure, is going to have problems against this 49ers D-line, which had 4 sacks last week and 2 the weeks prior to that as well, guys. Definitely, I think the 49ers are an option here. Looking forward, we're always looking forward here at the catch. You got the Carolina Panthers and the Atlanta Falcons on the docket after this week as well. So I think this is a multi-week hold if you can go ahead and grab them. And this is one of the better defenses in all of football right now, guys. Just talking about one of the best defenses in all of football, but why don't we talk about one of the best teams in all of football? And we're talking about the Tua-led Miami Dolphins. I wish I could do the dance like Waddle, but he just has so much more swagger than I do. Although he does not wear a headband quite like I do. But listen, guys, this Miami Dolphins team is just absolutely lighting it up on all cylinders right now. Beat the Buffalo Bills, but what stood out to me is, man, they got to Josh Allen. They had 4 sacks. They had 9 fantasy points, 2 forced fumbles, and 1 fumble recovery. Yes, they did give up a decent amount of yardage, and they did give up a ton of yardage the week prior to that against the Ravens. But when I look at that Ravens game in particular, I say, I got to kind of throw it out. That was such a wonky game. They just did not show up for the first 2 or 3 quarters, right? And then obviously had the crazy comeback. But what I see is a little bit of a mix between weeks 3 and week 1. And we can go back to week 1 where they had 20 fantasy points, where they were getting the sacks and they were getting the turnovers, guys. This unit was very good last season as well. I think this week going up against the Cincinnati Bengals is a really attractive option here, because the Cincinnati Bengals with Joe Burrow, I don't know what it is. It's definitely a combination of Burrow holding the ball too long and this offensive line not being as good as we thought on paper. They are just giving horrendous amount of sacks, guys. It's scary if you own them in fantasy, I'll tell you that. But this dude is on record pace for sacks, and I think the Miami Dolphins are going to eat this guy's lunch here, man. T. Higgins got a little banged up. He came back. Jamar Chase hasn't been quite what he was last season. I do think that Dolphins are going to roll in this game, and I think they beat up my man Joe Burrow even more here. I think they're a good streaming option for sure. And then the week after that, they got the New York Jets, where I think you could get 20 plus fantasy points in that game. So it's worth the investment if you can grab them now, for sure. But with that said, guys, that has been the must-start defenses for your fantasy football teams going into week 4. If you do like this video, make sure to go down there and hit the like button. Make sure to go down there and hit the subscribe button. Come on and join the Catch fam. Become a part of the best community in all of fantasy football. We talk cheese, we talk defense, we talk just about everything, guys. Come on and join the Catch, guys. And guys, make sure to get in those comments below too and let me know what defense is on your roster, what defense is on the waiver, so I can let you know who to pick up, who to start, who to drop. I'll give it to you here so we can set up your team nice and tasty before Sunday's matchup. With that said, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. And remember, you saw it here first at the Catch.